People ask me, boss, how soon can you be $100 million and will you be a unicorn?
You should shoot this thing and give it to some OTT platform. I'm sure this will be crazy. People will love to watch this.
Money talks. 700 plus people came and ran the first race in Ludhiana. We got
huge.
coverage on CNN, IBN. We were on NDTV. From there we got an opportunity to pitch to another real estate company. 400 people, so who are working behind the scenes. There's security, the medics, they are the photographers, they are the volunteers, they are the food vendors. Hopefully in the next year I will have 1 million people using that platform for a boot camp, for an obstacle race, for a traditional race, for a yodha. Yeah, if there is somebody out there listening in and he wants to pursue a career in fitness.
आज जो गेस्ट हमारे साथ है वो हर इंडियन को एक्टिव बनाने के लिए कुछ रेवोल्यूशनरी कर रहे हैं. He has introduced the concept of obstacle racing in India. He has successfully developed two fitness shows, sports shows I will say. वो स्पोर्ट्स के थ्रू लोगों की लाइफ को एनहेंस कर रहे हैं. So let's meet Adnan. Adnan, thank you for joining us today. What you are doing is truly inspiring. Let's talk about you. आपकी जर्नी कहाँ से हुई थी?
Saurabh, first, thank you so much for having me. It's a very generous introduction. I don't think I deserve all of this. एक ही मकसद है, and that one purpose in life is right now to get India active through disruptive properties that we are trying to create. It's been 11 years and one hell of a ride. Super excited. I remember the first day as if it was just yesterday. But I think after COVID, the change that I'm seeing in people has made me realize that the next 5 years is going to be truly revolutionary in the sense that जो भी हमने अभी तक achieve करा है, I think we will do that and more by a factor of at least 10.
आप पहले क्या करते थे?
पहले
हाँ, आपकी जर्नी स्टार्टिंग से.
So I've done a lot.
कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ है? कहाँ से जर्नी क्या थी?
Right. So I went to a boarding school, right? And I fell in love with playing sport, right? So I went to Doon School. And
Doon School
in Dehradun,
wow.
right? So I spent 6 years there, and I mean, my memory of school is all about sport, playing football, cricket, hockey, playing for school, scoring matches, winning games, losing games, and from there I, went into a career. After school, I went to college, and उस ज़माने में, and I'm talking about 1990, I left school in 1990.
Okay.
This is like, so I'm a dinosaur, right? So, उस ज़माने में there was no Google.
No,
there was
no social
guide.
media.
There was no guide जो आज के ज़माने में, that young kids have, young entrepreneurs have. So for me, it was about building a business and traditional business, right? So we came from a background where my mother was a teacher. Okay. My father had multiple businesses. कभी कुछ चला नहीं. So we've seen some very tough times, etc. But so I was always keen that, maybe if I try, I can do better than others, right? And I can do something for my parents, and they've given me such a great education and school and college. And so I started, you will not believe, but I was making shoes. I used to manufacture shoes.
Okay.
First, I started with shoes for kids, which I was exporting. I had a small export unit in Noida, which is on the outskirts of Delhi.
Okay.
We quickly expanded. I imported my complete machinery from Italy. Right?
Okay.
So worked, with a clear passion कि 30 साल की उम्र तक रिटायर होना है.
अच्छा, 30 साल तक सारे पैसे बना लेने.
बस उस ज़माने में ये था कि I remember last year college, my friends were all partying. They would go out on Friday night, come back home on Sunday. I was working in the factory because मेरा एक shipment जाना है.
Okay.
Right, shipment jana hai. So that means if I've left home on Friday, I'm perhaps coming home on Sunday, because one goal, one vision ki boss, let's be financially stable. And dheere karke, we grew that business. We went from a small unit to a reasonably comfortable mid-sized unit where I had 600 employees. I mean,
600 is huge.
Yeah, we were doing very well. I mean, we had no capacity left. We were oversold, right? So उस ज़माने में ये फायदा होता था कि जो buyers होते थे वो basically they would come from Europe. The buying agents who would come.
Okay.
And my competition was with factories in Agra and Kanpur, and no disrespect to them. I mean, the thing is, my only plus was that I was मेरी अंग्रेजी थोड़ी ठीक ठाक थी, right? So I could come in and
स्पोर्ट्स में हेल्प करा.
स्पोर्ट्स में हेल्प, and I could, you know, and I was very direct, no nonsense. मतलब इधर उधर करनी, सीधा सीधा कि बॉस कर सकते हैं तो हो जाएगा, नहीं कर सकते हैं तो नहीं हो सकता. And people started liking कि बॉस ये बंदा जो है ना ये, because you know exports में, I mean I'm sure you're aware, your family is in that same business. Timelines are very critical, you know, because 100%. If you're buying in August, they're doing it for next season, you know, and it goes through this whole procurement cycle, testing, etc. You know, QA, QC, जो सब, right? So I then segued into boots. I was making boots, you know, so leather boots, very high-end leather boots. So leather used to be imported from New Zealand, and I used to import the fur, which was because then there used to be high-end boots for very cold countries.
Okay.
For
European countries,
fur used to come from again somewhere in Europe, and we used to make the shoe upper, and they used to then I used to send it to a factory in Portugal. वो मेड इन पोर्चुगल लगाते थे, वो पूरे यूएसएसआर में बेचते थे.
इंडिया से भेजते थे, मेड इन पोर्चुगल लगाते थे.
नहीं, तो वो बगैर सोल के साथ ना, सो इट वुड बी अ शू अपर, सो दे वुड गो टू अ फैक्ट्री इन पोर्चुगल, वो अपना सोल लगाते थे, मेड इन पोर्चुगल, इट वुड सेल एट अ प्रीमियम.
ओके.
अब ये विजन नहीं था ना कि उस जमाने में कि बस कोई ब्रांड बनाना शुरू कर रहा हो. उस वक्त मेरे सामने ली कूपर एंड Red Tape and all these other, you know, brands that are around have done really well, was starting to take shape. And मेरा ये था नहीं, I want to play safe. I didn't have the comfort of, you know, throwing money at marketing and building a brand, because building a brand takes time. But you know, वही होता है जो मतलब किस्मत में लिखा था, ये लिखा था कि एक buyer है, he is buying everything. तो बाकी जो लोग आते थे, मैं कहता sorry, you know, I'm booked out. I can't. And sadly, you know, I have to say, like 7 years into this, overnight the USSR collapses. You know, if you remember Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, you know, all of these countries came about, Uzbekistan from the USSR. And this guy used to basically get the shoes from me, put the sole in Portugal and sell it across the USSR. So he was like, and he was a great guy. I mean, I really have a lot of respect for him, and we became friends. And when you become friends, you know, then there's a line of credit.
Of course,
you know?
right.
Yeah. So overnight, he went broke. Overnight.
So you were totally dependent on him.
I was dependent on him because I didn't want to overcommit. मेरा ये था कि I have to honor my commitment, right? अगर मेरे पास capacity होती तो मैं और ले लेता.
हाँ, कि अगर 3 महीने में मैं shipment दे सकता हूँ तो ही मैं order लूँगा, और otherwise मैं order नहीं लूँगा.
And this is 1998. So my debt at that time was 3 crores.
3 crores?
In 1998.
1998. Too big.
Yeah.
So you said safe play करना था. You just said safe play करना था, इसलिए मैं brand build नहीं किया.
Right.
Do you think कि ये गलत decision है safe play करना?
In hindsight, of course. I mean, you know, I would advise people to always, you know, have a backup.
Of course.
You know, have a backup and mitigate and look at, you know, what's the worst that can happen. I do that now, by the way, in my business. I do that, you know, in what we're doing today. I always only tell my team एक ही चीज बताता हूँ. Imagine the worst case scenario. And imagine what would you do अगर वो situation हो जाती है. अब you ran in Indore, right? पहली बार in 59 races it rained. It has never rained.
अच्छा.
Right? It has never rained. मैंने एक टीम को अपनी हमेशा सिर्फ ये बोला हुआ है कि boss, remember one thing. If you show a sense of fear or concern, right? You are going to basically transmit that to the participant.
Correct.
If you see somebody, God forbid, who has a bad injury, be calm. You know, you've already played that scenario in your head.
In your head.
कि करना क्या है? You know, imagine that scenario. You know, and I think so far, you know, touch wood. So we've been lucky in the sense we've built our current business on the strength of community and execution.
Correct. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, what is Devil Circuit? Devil Circuit है क्या? Obstacle racing क्या होती है? जो लोग इससे familiar नहीं है, उनको बताइए.
So, you know, so 29, so 28 पे तो मैं bankrupt हो गया, उसके बाद 20
28 पे अच्छा bankrupt भी हो गया.
Yeah, bankrupt. I was bankrupt, right? So I had like 3 crores का debt. I had
उसके बाद क्या किया?
First I was like distraught कि इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद nothing to show for. Nothing to show for, because when you are in the export business, अब लगे हुए हैं, shipment जा रहा है, 10 महीने you made money और 1 महीना जो है वो खराब हो गया, क्योंकि वो
Because of
रिजेक्ट हो गया या
export policies या
पैसे नहीं मिले,
other countries के norms, correct.
Yeah, you know, so you like it was always it's like snakes and ladder, no? You get to like 92, और फिर उसके बाद सांप काट के फिर आप you come back to well, you get somewhere in the middle and then you keep at it. But anyway, so उसके बाद I was distraught. I had the best management advice from my parents.
I have one question. When you were bankrupt, उस टाइम पर क्या थॉट था, क्या चल रहा था दिमाग में कि यार
No, guilt. मेरे पास guilt था ना, because you know, as a 21-year-old, my parents completely trusted in me. My parents gave me the financial freedom कि मैंने कहा कि मुझे इटली से machines लानी है, वो भी air से, you know, I mean, for people who are not familiar, you know, getting things from air
is expensive.
Is much more expensive. Yeah, but मैंने कहा, you know, I'm going to miss out on timelines, right? So I made a lot of mistakes, right? And I was very guilty to my parents. So I was waiting for them to tell me off कि मुझे डांटिए, कुछ तो बोलिए, you know,
बस निकल जा अब यहाँ से.
हाँ, so I mean, you know, and they never said anything, you know. And I kept, after a while, I basically confronted them. You know, both my parents, my mother and my father, were very supportive, and they were part of that business. But they gave me a free hand, ki build it up, it's yours. And then, you know, my mom said something which I think was the best management advice ever.
What?
She said, "We'll have a discussion about this thing that you're facing in your head. We'll have this tomorrow. Why did you spend the next 24 hours listing down the 5 biggest mistakes that you made according to you? And detail it out, you know, think it." और मैंने फिर ठीक है, okay, चलो, finally they have spoken. And I started thinking, मैंने ये गलती करी, I should not have listened to this buying agent. I should have, you know, mitigated my risk. You know, I wrote down these 5-6 learnings. Then next day I went, I said, okay, I'm ready, you know, for that discussion. So, I mean, my mother's a teacher, right? So she has no management experience. And just look at what she said. It's so profound. She said, you've done it? I said, yeah. So she said, I've made a note. So she said, okay, you know, where is it? I said, I have a piece of paper, you know. And she said, okay, tear it up and throw it. And that's the end of the discussion. We never spoke about it. I mean, you know, it's just so profound. It's unbelievable.
After that day?
They never, like, I mean, I think what they wanted me to do was just introspect. I mean, it's very easy in hindsight to say, तुमने ये गलत करा, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था. I was just waiting to feel less guilty.
कि हाँ, डांट देंगे तो जो अंदर मेरे अंदर चल रहा है वो खत्म हो जाएगा और मैं
सुकून, थोड़ा सा सुकून, right? So anyway, so you asked me what is the devil's circus. Well,
no,
today,
well, I want to ask about this thing as well. अभी भी कभी-कभार guilty feel होता है?
No, I mean, I think it's there were a lot of things that were not in my control. I know my mistakes. I hope I remember them. It wasn't as if I didn't work hard enough. I worked really hard, but I didn't work smart enough. There's a difference, you know. So that's what I tell any entrepreneur today, ki boss, you know, work hard but work smart. You know, मैं नहीं कह रहा कि 10 घंटे 12 घंटे नहीं काम करो, but be sensible, smartly, be honest to yourself. Imagine the worst case scenarios. You know, it's very important to do it. Don't have that ostrich वाली mentality ना, कोई कुछ अरे गड़बड़ हो रहा है तो I'll put my head in the ground. जब मैं निकालूंगा तो everything will be okay. ऐसे नहीं होता. It will never happen. You know.
Correct.
So so that was like my learnings in my 20s, and then I packed my bags. The factory got sold. We sold everything. You know, paid off the debtors. I went and I said, I'm never coming back. I went to England. I did my MBA. I got a job in tech, and I did very well.
From manufacturing to tech.
Yeah, I was basically good at storytelling. I was good at sales, right? So if I could sell my own services, you know, as my factory, I just, and plus क्या होता है ना कि when you are against the wall, no, life teaches you a lot.
Yes.
Right? You play out of your comfort zones, right?
Correct.
I didn't understand technology from but I was very good at telling people why the organization I worked with was better than a Wipro or an Infosys or a Tech Mahindra.
You and which organization?
So I joined an organization called Symbol, which got acquired by Putney Computers, which then got acquired by iGate, which then got acquired by Capgemini.
Okay.
So I was there for 3 acquisitions, and then the last one I had left.
So जब भी आप रेस ऑर्गेनाइज करवाते हो सिटीज के अंदर, so what kind of challenges do you face? क्या क्या तैयारी पीछे जाती है उस रेस के लिए, उस 3 घंटे के लिए?
8 घंटे के लिए. So indoor was obviously less
के लिए तो 3 hours होता है ना?
हाँ नहीं, but the most cities, there are many more people.
Okay.
So दिल्ली में for example रेस शुरू हो जाती है 6:30 बजे से and goes on till 2 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's but लोगों को अंदाजा नहीं होता कि कितनी मेहनत जाती है in pulling off an event.
Correct.
And I am very proud of the fact that I have an amazing team. I have an amazing team of people who are as committed as myself. And they are as paranoid as I am. कि क्या गड़बड़ हो सकता है, and they start imagining scenarios so that they can work on a mitigation plan. So we have SOPs for everything.
Okay.
Right. So first and foremost, at the start of the season, we will create all of the obstacles. So we have a farmhouse in Gurgaon where we create all these obstacles. अब पहले जब हमने शुरू करा था काम, तो हमें लगता था 6 weeks to make one race.
6 weeks?
Yeah. Now it takes us
1.5 months.
Yeah. Now it takes us 6 days. Right. So we have gone from
6 weeks to 6 days.
6 days. Right. Now we have a moving circus. If you right, I mean, we just go from putting stuff in 4 40-foot containers city to city. We have a parallel team that will go to the next city a week in advance. Okay. So जैसे इंदौर जैसे खत्म हुआ, there's already a team working on the next city, cleaning up the course, putting out where the layout will be, for all the obstacles. So we do it in such a way कि आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि you will not know कि ये इंदौर है, मुंबई है, हैदराबाद है, चेन्नई है. That whole experience will be exactly the same.
Right.
So, we will invest a lot in tech. We will create these 3D renditions कि ये हमारे obstacles ऐसे बनते हैं. We will create it, test it. Then we have a manual. वो manual we give it to our project manager कि here is the manual, ये ऐसे बनाना है. इसको ऐसे जोड़ना है, इसको ऐसे जोड़ना है, इसको ऐसे जोड़ना है, and this is the QA for it.
Okay.
Likewise, when you come to the expo, for example, we have a different expo for a small city, we have a different expo for a large city.
Large city.
But it is not random कि ad hoc नहीं है कि अच्छा आज ये ऐसे लगा तो ऐसे नहीं.
मतलब इंदौर जैसी cities के लिए अलग तरीके का expo.
Indore because it's a new city, right? Correct. So for us it was the first time. Eventually, inshallah, in 3 years from now, Indore will be a much bigger city. But Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, these are much larger cities, right? Where participants, like Mumbai is still 3 weeks away, but it's going to be sold out tomorrow. We have, I think, less than 50 spots left. But
so how many people join the race? अगर बॉम्बे में अब race है.
So our support staff, by the way, on that day is 400 people.
Okay.
400 people. So who are working behind the scenes? There's security. There's the medics. There are the photographers. There are the volunteers. They're the food vendors, every element, people managing the bathrooms. You will not think twice. We've got people there, and that's why people love us for the experience we provide, because we've thought of everything from the moment you walk in.
Yeah.
Actually, you walk in, a day before for bib collection.
Correct.
Right. उससे पहले अब हमने ये कह दिया कि you have to generate a QR code, upload your documents, so I know कि it's you, so that I have a digital waiver. Earlier we used to have cartons and cartons of waivers.
Waivers, okay.
Right? This is not sustainable. I mean, we had 2 rooms full of cartons.
Right.
कि मतलब किसी का अगर ढूंढना है waiver कहाँ मिलेगा?
Correct.
Right? So we went completely digital on that. We used technology very heavily, So our goal is every year change the obstacles, tweak things around, raise the game. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as the team is concerned, there is no such thing as perfection.
Correct.
There's always room for improvement.
100% totally agree with you.
So, लोगों को अंदाजा नहीं होता. I mean, a lot of people now do, but that's why they keep coming back. But people sometimes, especially the ones who ask for discounts, they need to understand that.
People ask for discount for this kind of event?
No, it's just an Indian mindset. You go buy a Mercedes Benz also, you say sir discount कितना है?
हम 4 जने आ रहे हैं तो एक का फ्री एंट्री करा दो.
Like ऐसे आप 4,000 आ जाओ तो मैं आप सबको पैसे दूंगा क्या? It doesn't work like that. But it's an Indian thing, right? But like I said, what I am loving today, Saurabh, is the fact that young India is waking up, and young India doesn't care. What young India cares about is, boss, can I be part of this community? Can I earn the right to brag about the fact that I'm a member of the tribe of devil slayers?
Right.
Can I go home with bruises and say, boss, Sunday morning तो मैंने ये करा, Asia's toughest race. तुमने क्या किया?
Yeah, can I brag about it?
Yeah, can I brag about it? And you know, and now I'm seeing, मैं football खेलता हूँ हर Sunday, right? I play football every Sunday, but I will confirm my participation on the group on Friday night. Life is like this, right?
Correct.
I mean, as an entrepreneur, you don't know कहाँ जाना है.
Right.
But people, I mean, was amazing the day that I opened registrations, and this was in July. My first 100 tickets were sold for a race happening in March of 2025.
That's crazy. Which city?
So Delhi and Hyderabad.
Hyderabad, okay.
January and March, which is ridiculous.
Correct.
But it shows that for people, this is no longer an event; it's a aspiration.
It's an aspiration.
Yeah.
एक बार अगर what I have felt जब मैं डेविल सर्किट इंदौर में आया था, I had a great experience.
Right.
और मुझे था कि I want to go in the second race where it is happening. I want to go.
Actually, यहाँ आने से पहले ना मेरे पास एक email आया कि sir, I'm a farmer. I have big farms in Indore. I loved it, but I want to run in 9 races now. I'm not able to buy because Mumbai का comparative बंद हो गया है. You know, I want to run not just in Mumbai. I want to run all the remaining 9 cities.
Okay.
So I said, boss, what were you doing? He said, मुझे इतना अंदाजा नहीं था कि मुझे इतना मजा आएगा. And आप जो कह रहे थे कि once is not enough, it resonates with me.
Correct.
So eventually he kept pleading with me on Instagram, please, please, please. And then finally I told my team, make an exception, दे दो एक, Mumbai का ticket and let him buy 4. He bought all 9 tickets.
That's crazy. No, I can totally relate with it because जो experience वहाँ पे लोगों ने फील करा वो एक डिफरेंट एनर्जी है, डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस है. वो मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि आपको इंडिया में मिलेगा ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस.
I think, sort of the beauty is that we have always positioned the Devil Circuit as the most extraordinary day in your rather mundane life.
Right.
Because my goal is if I can give sort of a glimpse of how strong he is. No, तुम्हारी जो journey है ना to the next level, that will come so automatically for you. You will start eating right. You will start training harder. You will start setting higher milestones and goals for yourself. Because I've given you that self-confidence.
Correct.
And when you, I don't know if you experience this or not, but when you were running in Indore, random people must have been saying, come on, let's do it. It never happens.
That's the thing, that you feel that you are a part of a community. You feel belongingness, right? कि आप कोई ऑब्स्टेकल कर रहे हो, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट, दूसरा आएगा, जस्ट गिव मी योर हैंड. ठीक है, वो चीज जो है, ऐसे आप अगर देखोगे, पीपल आर नॉट दैट सपोर्टिव. ये कम, बहुत रेयर होता है.
आई थिंक लोग कहते हैं यार इंडियंस आर नॉट इमोटिव. कि आप 50 लाख रुपए की गाड़ी ले लो, दूसरे दिन उसको फोन करो कि सर गाड़ी कैसे थी, he'll put the phone down.
100%.
But I like to differ a bit. I think what's happened is that life has become so stressful that we have forgotten these moments. But when you give that experience to someone, especially in India, he is the most vocal. He will go out of his way to clap for a random stranger.
Correct.
You see it on the summit, which is the curved wall. वो जो लोग ऊपर पहुंच भी जाते हैं on their own, they don't carry on. They put their hand out for a random person.
Yes, absolutely right.
This is what India is all about. We are so emotional as a race. If you give them a platform to express themselves, they will not disappoint.
So ये community building दो जगह होती है. Either kind of experience I had at Devil Circuit, या दूसरा कोई musical concerts like Coldplay or other musical concerts.
Yeah,
right?
So Coldplay and concerts, etc. I mean, they're all amazing experiences.
Yeah.
But they may not change you.
So have you ever thought कि डेविल सर्किट इतना बड़ा बन जाएगा, लोग इतना प्यार करेंगे, लोग इस कम्युनिटी से जुड़ जाएंगे? कभी ऐसा सोचा था आपने?
नहीं, मुझे तो लग रहा है अभी तो हम तो बस शुरू कर रहे हैं. जैसे अभी तो शुरुआत है. I think we have a long way to go before we can be happy with where we want to be.
Okay.
मेरा गोल ये है कि the Devil Circuit addresses the need of a participant who has not seen how cool he is or she is. Because it's a journey. Once I give Saurabh that experience, he will believe in himself.
Correct.
And my idea of my business is I want to have the full spectrum. कि Saurabh will come and say, boss, मजा आ गया, Devil Circuit भाग लिया, पर next क्या है? अच्छा, next योद्धा रेस है आपके लिए. So then,
Okay.
because when today, आज की date में, you go to any corporate and you find any 40-year-old, 35-year-old, 50-year-old who wants to brag about fitness, he'll say, I've signed up for Ironman. Great, well done. It's a triathlon and it's now become the global standard in terms of bragging rights.
Right.
Fitness की बात करनी है तो मैं Ironman. Good and bad, मेरे हिसाब से good and bad. Good की boss, you've set a benchmark कि boss मुझे यहाँ करना है. Because I'm looking, what is that, medal that I can earn.
Correct.
Bad in the sense कि boss, we are a country of 1 billion people.
Right.
Why do we need foreign properties? Right? Why can't you say मैं योद्धा? Right?
Right.
Vocal for local, that's all I say. Ki, what? India has the smartest people on the planet. India is the youngest nation in the world. India is the most amazing audience when it comes to launching new brands and concepts.
Right.
I mean,
this is the best time.
People in your generation, they don't care for Nike, Reebok, etc. They'll buy different brands because it connects with them.
Correct.
It could be a comet, it could be jaywalking, and
yeah, of course, people are going for local brands nowadays.
Yeah, so I am saying, boss, in sport, Saurabh should say 2 years from now, "Main Yodha." This is India's toughest, and maybe it could also be Asia's toughest, because, by the way, the Devil Circuit is Asia's toughest race. It's not just India's toughest race. And when we create something like the Yodha, it'll be next level. And I am sure we will have participation from other countries. People will come.
Wow.
So I'm from that perspective, I'm very nationalistic. I am very staunch local. Why should we have to go to any foreign platform? Most of the times, these foreign platforms have learned the art of franchise.
Correct.
The reason why you feel so special is because we put our heart and soul into every edition.
Right.
If I wanted, I could have also franchised it to 30 cities across India.
Correct.
But वो आता नहीं है, you cannot pass that.
वो एक सिर्फ commercial business हो जाता अगर if
you cannot pass that love. You cannot pass that. Then it becomes transactional.
Correct. Right. So I feel you are more of an entrepreneur than sports enthusiast. आपने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग से चालू किया, फिर आप यूएस चले गए, यूके चले गए, देन दुबई जॉब किया, एंड देन एट 40 यू केम टू इंडिया, राइट? और आपने स्टार्ट किया डेविल सर्किट. सो बैंक्रप्सी भी आपने फेस करी, सारे चैलेंजेस फेस किए, एंड स्क्रैच से आपने एक नया प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया. हाउ हार्ड इट इज? बिकॉज इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. लोग कवर अप नहीं कर पाते इस चीज़ों से. करेक्ट?
It's very hard, and ऐसा नहीं है कि बुरा वक्त नहीं देखा. In the last 12 years, I think I've come to.
You have faced bankruptcy then.
Yeah, I mean the thing is when you hit rock bottom, and you've managed to restart your life, so you know what it looks like. You know what you have to do to get back up. So during COVID, for example, we nearly went bankrupt. In fact, we were back to zero.
During COVID?
Can you imagine, from a position of strength where we are hosting races in 10 cities and doing multiple TV shows to zero. And I didn't let go of any one staff for 18 months. Right? So empathy was very important.
That's the power of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But it's very, but I told Zeba, my partner, and I told this to my team also many times, that even if we go under, we can go home with the satisfaction of knowing that over 200,000 people have gone home with an experience of a lifetime.
That is for sure.
Right. I said, kitni startups aaye since I've moved back to India, jo gaayab ho gaye. Right?
Correct.
And I won't mention them, but they were inundated with hundreds of millions of dollars. And आज के ज़माने में अगर मैं पूछता हूँ किसी 25-year-old, do you know or do you remember a startup called Snapdeal, or do you remember any of these other things? Most of the time they won't remember it.
Yeah.
But I said, look, if it is meant to be, it is meant to be. It's okay.
Yeah.
But we should go home with the fact that we sold to somebody a memory which is priceless.
You will never forget.
They will never forget us.
Devil Circuit.
They will never forget us. And I think that is the thing that we can be proud of.
Yeah.
So for me, it's
that's the satisfaction.
Yeah. But sort of अब ये है कि अब पहले 20s में था कि 30 साल तक इतने पैसे कमा लो कि रिटायर हो जाओ. 30s में ये था कि stability, get back on your feet, be financially secure. And I was doing well for myself, right? So financially and also health-wise, I had gone from like up to 94, 95 kilos, very unfit, but good life, you know. And 40s became okay, risk-taking again. And now it's no longer about, people ask me, boss, how soon can you be $100 million and when will you be a unicorn? That's not my business. I don't know. I don't honestly work on that driver. My driver is, boss, can I get 1 million Indians active? Can I get them to run the Devil Circuit? Can I get them to run the One Finisher? Can I get them to run the Yodha race? Can I get them to run the Goat.Run, which are all these IPs that I'm launching? Can I get them to get fit through my app called BunkerFit? Can I get them to go to my ticketing platform called getmybib.com? Yes, sir. Can I get them to do that? Because if I'm servicing that requirement, then I'm creating something valuable. What it will give me in the end, I don't know. At the moment, I know that I am emotionally satisfied. And my satisfaction comes from the fact that I have created something for which people have come to me and said, unsolicited, बगैर बुलाए, they just see organizer, they see me in the assembly area, I'm pumping them up, कि boss, the best Sunday of my life.
मजा आ गया.
Like in Indore, I mean Indore बार-बार बोल रहा हूँ because, you know, we met at Indore. But can you imagine a grown-up man comes and tells me, you know, that he was on the brink of depression. I mean, he was in depression, on the brink of taking his life. And the Devil Circuit changed him. I'll never obviously mention it to anyone, but can you imagine someone comes and tells me in Mohali, this is many years ago, it was like a beautiful moment. I became friends with this guy. I see, you know, at the brain freeze, jo aakhri obstacle hota hai, you climb up, you go into 15 tons of ice cubes and it blows your mind, right? And कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि आपको एहसास नहीं होता because हाथ छिला होता है. जब आप उसमें जाते हो उसमें rock salt होता है and we put rock salt intentionally ताकि बर्फ पिघले नहीं जल्दी.
Okay.
Right? So when you come out, it's burning. And I see this fit Sardar, you know, fit looking Sardar, he's crying at the finish line. और मुझे सबसे पहले मेरा, because I'm always worried कि बहुत चोट लग गई, you know, medics are here, can I take? He says, no, you don't understand. I said, क्या हुआ? He said, no, you don't understand. I did everything. I said, great, well done. So I thought maybe he's emotionally, you know, overcome कि मैंने सब कर लिया. And he says, look at my bib number, A001. हमारे यहाँ automated होता है, right? If you are the first one to buy a ticket, वो automatically आपको A001 generate हो जाता है.
Okay.
Right? So competitive में. So he said, I bought this ticket in the month of April. Race हुई थी March में.
Next year, March में.
Okay. So I said, what happened? He says, ये race मैं भागा था 2 साल पहले. 2 साल पहले आपने कहा था कि डोंट गेट फिक्सेटेड. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ कि डोंट गेट फिक्सेटेड विद ऑब्स्टिकल्स. कुछ चीजें नहीं होंगी, बार बार मत लगे रहना. डोंट डिवाइड द कॉस्ट ऑफ द टिकट विद द नंबर ऑफ ऑब्स्टिकल्स. ये मैं मजाक करता हूँ सबके साथ.
ओके.
इससे वो मुझसे समिट हुआ नहीं. फिर मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं यार, आई गेट इंजर्ड, आई क्रॉस द फिनिश लाइन, अगले साल आऊंगा, कर लूंगा. ही गोज होम एंड कई दिन से उससे पहले उसके गले में एक दर्द हो रहा था, राइट? इट वाज लाइक ही वाज नॉट एबल टू स्वॉलो प्रॉपर्ली. And उन्होंने biopsy कराई, right? He is 33 years old, and he is diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks after the race. And he says, पूरी क्या कहते हैं, मेरी दुनिया बदल गई. हर आदमी मुझको देख के तरस खा रहा है. मेरी बीवी परेशान, मेरे बाप परेशान, मेरे ऑफिस वाले परेशान. Don't worry. And he says, मेरे दिमाग में कि boss, this is not my time to go. मैंने अभी summit नहीं करा. He says, in my head, I said, boss, मैं समिट करूंगा. He says, उसी टाइम पे आपका सीजन अनाउंस हो गया. अप्रैल में मैं अनाउंस कर देता हूँ जनरली. You know, I do this. I used to do this before COVID. अप्रैल में he says, I went and bought this ticket. He went through treatment, you know, chemo and radiotherapy and all of that. And he says, I'm still not cancer free. But today I did it. And he says, thank you for giving me that distraction I wanted in life. Because when I was going through the pain of being treated, मेरे दिमाग में था कि मैं आके ये चीज मुझे करनी है.
I feel आपके लिए ये सबसे बड़ा biggest motivation होता है.
Really, I had goosebumps यार बॉस. जब मैं सुन रहा था ना, मेरे आंखों में आंसू आ गए कि बॉस ये मतलब unbelievable. I impacted somebody's life.
100%.
You know, I just And we became good friends, you know. I mean, he's now got 2 daughters. He loves cats. I also have cats, you know, and he runs again. Every time in Mohali, he's running.
Okay.
I know he's doing really well. He's strong and he's fit, you know. But can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's my high, man. I mean, this is it. And I think I'm happy that I'm in India at this time, because when I look at India, there is a massive void for the young generation.
Right.
For a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old की बॉस कुछ करना है, कुछ जीतना है, कुछ मकाम हासिल करना है.
एक जुनून है,
एक जुनून है. हाँ, मुझे, and it's not about running a race या road race नहीं भागनी. क्या concepts हैं? And there's a difference between an event and an experience.
Of course.
It takes many years before an event becomes the experience. Right? Otherwise, it's just a triathlon. Then
Correct.
it becomes an Ironman.
Correct.
It's just an obstacle race. Then it becomes the Devil's Circuit. You know?
Right.
So, I have taken all of those learnings and put this into my playbook. And, you know, next year is about the Yodha race. It's about one finisher. It's about Go.Run. And
tell us more about the finisher and the Yodha race.
Yeah, so the one finisher is basically for ultra running, right? So it's
that race is for professional pro athletes.
No, it's not like it's for regular people, but who are into ultra running. You know, you see a lot of people who say, "Boss, I ran 100 kilometers, I ran 200 kilometers, I ran 300 kilometers."
Achha.
You know, so I am basically saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to create a format for you because I want you to promote the idea of how cool ultra running is. So one finisher is like last man standing. You basically come together on a Sunday morning at a particular location, and 300 people will start off, and you have 60 minutes to run 7 kilometers.
60 minutes?
To run 7 kilometers. You do it in 30 minutes, you get 30 minutes of rest. You do it in 40 minutes, you get 20 minutes of rest. You do it in 50 minutes, you get 10 minutes of rest. And then every hour on the hour, you will carry on running 7 kilometers. After 10 hours, people will start falling off because that would be a cumulative total of 70 kilometers. When you get to the last 20 people, which I think will happen in the next first 12 hours, I want to shoot content. We'll have a drone camera chasing you. Boss, क्यों कर रहे हो? क्यों भाग रहे हो? I'm doing it for my son. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my dad. I'm doing it for my mom. I'm doing it for my wife. Whatever. Capture those moments. Try and understand what is going on in your head to keep at it. Suppose at the end of 14 hours, only me and you are running. I'm thinking, my dear, he's younger than me.
But don't you think it is very dangerous?
Well, you know, I mean, sport is dangerous. I mean, I don't think it's dangerous. It's just, life is short, right? Life is short. I mean, it's completely up to you. You can quit when you want. You can quit when you want.
Either
I mean,
you go hard or go home.
Go hard or go home, or you know, you give a platform to ultra runners, right? This is not everybody's cup of tea. I'm just saying, you know, 300 people are going to be invited. Come and participate and come and tell the world why you do what you do. You know? And then last में जब 2 लोग बचेंगे, only one person, right? It will continue till one person remains and he has to finish that circuit. Everybody else is a DNF, did not finish.
Okay.
300 लोग थे एंड में मैं और आप बचे.
You should shoot this thing and give it to some OTT platform. I'm sure this will be crazy. People will love to watch this thing.
Yeah. So I want to show you how cool India is here.
Yeah.
I want to show how strong India is. You know, why should एक India की एक image बनी हुई है कि बस obese capital of the world, you know, diabetes capital of the world, cardiovascular disease capital of the world, all. But there's also another India that I like to show. The young India. The India that has, you know, created a unicorn in Zepto, 20-something-year-olds, right? An India where you have Zerodha, the biggest stockbroking company in the world, bootstrapped, right? So, I want to show that India.
Correct.
Right? I want to show the India which shows Ajay Lalwani in the, you know, right vision in the I like to show Ajay Lalwani, you know, for the person that he is.
Yeah.
You know, तो वो इंडिया में दिखाना चाहता हूँ, right? So
when it is happening, the finisher?
April
2025.
Yeah, April 2025, and
where is happening?
Greater Noida Formula 1 track.
Formula 1 track.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So that whole course is, I think, around 4 kilometers. So we'll be creating a little segue, so you can do total of 7.
You got the entries already?
No, it's but strictly by invitation.
Okay.
So I don't want to open it up for everyone. See, I want to get people who are very serious and who are comfortable in running long distances. I don't want a bunch of people who
What
come
is the
in.
procedure? So if I want to come for this race,
You have to answer 3 questions.
like what?
Why are you doing it? What's the longest you've run?
Okay.
And why do you want to do it? I mean, so we just so that we know that you put some thought behind it. Obviously, people will sign up.
I'll say it will be just for kick. I need that kick.
Yeah.
For me, it will be a kick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is, right?
I am not a great runner,
Yeah.
but I want to do it.
Yeah.
कि मैं बता सकूं कि हाँ मैंने
It's
किया
out
है.
of
मैं
your
खुद
comfort
को-
zone. No, it's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it is out of my comfort zone. So
Yeah.
even Devil Circuit, कोई obstacles, they were out of my comfort
Yeah.
zone. But I did it.
I agree. But you were saying something about dangerous, etc. Even cricket is dangerous.
100%.
You could get hit by a ball. Even football is dangerous.
Right. Sports are dangerous. Yeah.
Life is, you could be like the person who is careful about everything. And then there's that song, I'm forgetting that, the person who was
That song.
so a person who's afraid to fly finally sits on a plane, and then that plane is about to crash his first flight. It's fate also.
Right.
So so I'm very excited.
So-
I think India में ना वो void है अभी इस वक्त, right?
Correct,
So that's
correct. So at the end, पूरे टॉपिक का डिस्कशन का एंडिंग यही था कि लाइफ इज शॉर्ट, डू इट, जस्ट डू इट.
yeah. I think life is about memories and experiences.
Yeah.
What are the 5 coolest things that you can brag about before you turn 30 or before you turn 40? And I will say, boss, please don't talk about the expensive watch or the expensive
Materialistic
car or
things,
the
yeah.
expensive house.
Yeah.
And please also do not talk about the fact that you married the most good looking man or the most good looking woman. No. What are the 5 coolest things you did that you remember as if it happened yesterday? And that is what people should work towards.
I'll ask you this thing. What are the 5 coolest
I
things you
went
did?
scuba diving. I jumped out of a plane when I was in my 20s. I didn't get a tattoo, but I created the Devil Circuit. And I'm still working on myself. I have gone through a personal transformation of 94 kilos to 71 kilos. I play football with 25-year-olds.
At the age of 50.
52. I'll be 53 in June next year, inshallah, right?
Wow.
But I think I'm just getting started, right? So I still have to earn those bragging rights,
Right.
I think the other good thing I could brag about is that I went bust at 28.
At 28?
I was broke,
Yeah.
so which is okay because it.
So you have had a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have seen a lot.
Yeah.
At 20, 25, 28, you have seen a lot. So जब आप इतना देख लेते हो तो परसेप्शन माइंड चेंज हो जाता है. यू सी थिंग्स डिफरेंटली, राइट? सपोज आज आप जैसे देख रहे हो, आई डोंट थिंक कि बहुत सारे लोग 52, 53 में इस तरीके से दुनिया को देखते हैं.
Yeah, the thing
People
is-
want to do it. See,
Yeah.
when people will see
Yeah.
you, यार ऐसी बात,
Yeah.
ऐसा, why I'm not like this, but they don't want to do the things what you are doing.
My
Behind
my biggest plus is that I have a very young office. I think the average age in my office is 25.
Okay.
Right? So I talk their language. I walk their lifestyle. Right? I like to hear what they are going through. It makes me forget how much of a dinosaur I am. If I hang around with people my age, the issues are about didn't make enough money, I've got issues at home, I've got issues with my kids. It's about just regret. And I don't want to surround myself with people who are pessimistic. I want to surround myself with people who are positive about life.
About life.
I want people around me who are hungry. I see that in my team. Hungry, I want to come to work knowing I have a bunch of people who are excited.
Who are excited. Who are
So-
excited about next morning.
Yeah,
Yes, आज जाना है.
मैंने हमेशा सबसे कहा हुआ है, like when I was interviewing them, I said, look, if I can create an environment in an office where 200 days in a year, you love going to work. That means I have created the perfect workspace. Because 100 days you say, kahan aa gaya yaar, phas gaya main. And a few other days will be tough. Ki boss, this is not what I signed up for.
Correct.
But if I can do 200 days where you feel excited about coming to work, we have created the perfect company.
Perfect company. Right. That is very difficult in today's world.
Difficult, I don't know. I think if people follow their passion and if people, my only grief with like the youngsters today is that don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush.
But we are in a rush.
No, it was always the case. No, I was also like when I was in my 20s, I said, boss, I want to retire by 30.
It is not about youngster. It is about this age. It is about this 20 to 30 age that you want to achieve. When you see Zepto, when you see company like Zerodha, so you feel कि what are we doing? क्या कर क्या रहे हम? ये एक maybe this mindset is wrong, but this is our age mindset.
But you know the thing is, today आज के ज़माने में the opportunities are endless.
100%.
Right? Like I said, social media has opened up India like it has never opened up. Right? Democratized, the advertising space. Advertising is changing. When I go and talk to brands, I tell them, ki boss, please understand, hoarding, print, radio, cinema, koi nahi dekh raha. They may see you, but they don't hear you. Please understand, there's a big difference. You come and talk to someone about experiences and they will remember you. I tell, I've got a very cool progressive partner in the Devil Circuit, Maruti Suzuki. He's been my title sponsor for 10 years. And the reason why they're basically still holding on to this title rights is because they said something very cool to me when I went and pitched. And they said, look, we're doing very well. What we like about the concept that you're creating is the fact that it sells an experience to a young India. And we want the rub off. Because हम नहीं चाहते 5 साल के बाद वो बंदा जो है उठ के कहेगा वो पापा की कार है. It is a big statement from a very big company.
Correct,
right? So they are working with me because of the rub off. And that's what I tell people today, especially now after COVID. Zamana badal gaya. Please understand the writing on the wall.
So, what the interesting part is, you have built a great community.
Right.
और there is a deep connection. वो community भी feel करती है. Correct. Devil Circuit कराया. Devil Circuit के बाद you can take that community to different place. Correct.
Yeah.
And that loyal community is very hard for any business or entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Am I right?
No, I think it's. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that.
How are you taking this forward?
So Saurabh. So my idea is that I feel India is right now just absolutely in the right place. I mean, I am at the right place in India where I want to launch multiple concepts that allow me to build different communities of different athletes, different participants. Today you are a much fitter looking, 20-year-old than most other people. But if I ask you, boss, what is your, destination of choice to test you on fitness? There isn't anything.
Yeah.
I will say, okay, boss, ab aap aao na, Yodha race bhago. Be a Yodha, right? I want to now use my learnings, which I put together in my playbook, and launch these multiple segues. So Devil Circuit is the start of the journey. The Yodha race is the next level. Yeah. The one finisher is for the ultra athlete, So there, like I said, participative sport is about to explode. It is no longer about me and you go, we'll go IPL match देखेंगे, we'll cheer India. Of course, we'll always do it. But आजकल ना वो एक desire है कि boss, मुझे और करना है, मेरी बारी कब, और मुझे इसलिए नहीं करना कि मुझे सबको हराना है, मुझे इसलिए करना है कि मुझे prove myself, you versus you, मुझे वो finish line cross करनी है. तो वो ये जो है ना, ये जज्बा, ये जुनून, this is in your generation, man. I am so pumped and excited कि अगले 5 साल में ना we will change India.
So I have one question. How these marathons or these kind of sports like Devil Circuit affects you mentally? Physically तो affect करते ही है, but mentally इसका क्या impact?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, good question. I think self-confidence. And they give you a sense of confidence about yourself. You get a glimpse of where you want to be or where you can be. I think those are life-changing. Your mother and your dad, and you can say, beta, you are strong, you can do this, whatever. You always say, boss, they're saying it because they're my dad, they're my mom, they're my friends, right? Unless you feel it yourself, you'll never believe in what you're capable of. So I think, these experiences give you that glimpse. Ki, boss, what am I truly capable of? Nitin and I ran a race in Dubai last year, and brutal race. Brutal race. But both of us at the finish line, when we met each other, right? I came 200 out of 1,200 participants across all age groups. He came 130 out of 1,200 across all age groups. And the first thing we said is, phir se karna hai, and it was brutal. Yeah. But it gave us a sense of confidence and belief ki, boss, we can be better. Who says that you're past your prime? I refuse to accept it, So for me, I'm just getting started. I think there's a long way to go. And yeah, like I said, I'm super pumped for the future. Right?
And at the age of 40, you thought to get corporate job and let's go for this. The decision, kaise?
I don't know.
How did you made this decision? Because it looks very easy, but it is not.
It was a very difficult decision, and I can tell you that I was working on an Excel sheet like everybody else and trying to play with numbers. कि अगर इतने लोग आ जाएंगे और इतने पैसे दे देंगे और इतने पैसे आएंगे स्पॉन्सरशिप से, इतना हो जाएगा. You fool yourself. I was fooling myself that I can, because when I started, there was no bench, there was no reference. Only reference was a company that was doing traditional races across the country, half marathon, full marathon. Koi aur nahi tha, right? So, but I just wanted to try my hand at being an entrepreneur again. So, I fooled myself and I was not honest in my calculations, right? And I can tell you that we were far off from the projections that we made. So, it was a decision of the heart and a little bit of restlessness. Okay. Because I have always thrived when I have enjoyed myself. So when I started my entrepreneurial journey, I enjoyed my journey. Maza aaya. In the end, I didn't make money, but I enjoyed the journey, not the end goal. When I worked in a corporate career, I enjoyed the challenge of quarter se quarter tak. इस क्वार्टर का क्या टारगेट है, फिर अगले क्वार्टर का क्या टारगेट है, कैन आई बी द बेस्ट सेल्समैन ऑफ द ईयर, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years running, can I do it another year? That challenge was what gave me that, क्या कहते हैं, driver कि करना है. And when I lost that driver, then I said ये नहीं करना मुझे.
It is very rare कि आपका जो passion है वो ही आपका
very difficult business होती है बॉस. मतलब don't chase passion and build a business. It's very go for boring businesses. जूते बनाना है, जूते बनाओ.
You'll make money out of it.
You'll make money. And passion is
risky.
Yeah, it's
if you can't take risk, then don't get involved in your passion. Right? When I was doing research, there's one more company of yours, right? Get My Bill. It's same as Paytm Insider or Book My Bill, right?
So Get My Bib is basically a platform that we've created for event organizers like myself who are looking for people who are looking for experiences, only active experiences. Insider and Book My Show and all these amazing platforms, वहाँ पे 50,000 events listed है. वहाँ पे workshops हैं, वहाँ पे movie के listings हैं, वहाँ पे plays हैं, etc. सभी कुछ है. But I wanted to create a very filtered community of only active events. तो अगर आप जयपुर में मैराथन करा रहे हो तो I will come to you and say आप यहाँ पे लिस्ट कर लो. I will charge you a lesser success fee than what you will pay these other platforms. Because मेरा ये objective है कि hopefully in the next year I will have 1 million people using that platform for a boot camp, for an obstacle race, for a traditional race, for a Yodha. Yeah, because if I were to send a newsletter out to that database of participants who only come for active events, the conversion rate will be much higher. Right? So, book my show, and I mean, like I said, no disrespect to them, but मेरे साथ issue ये आता था कि when I was to send a mailer out कि मेरी race आ रही है इंदौर या मुंबई या हैदराबाद, तो first would be, okay, we'll charge you this much money to send the mailer out. Number two, we will charge you this much money to be prominently listed. Right? Number three, even if after I said, chalo theek hai karo, I didn't see a change in the traffic to my website. Meaning that, more. Yeah, so, no, plus I realized, we are going to come to a situation where I may get 1 million people who are running races with me or through my partners or other race companies who believe in the same philosophy. You could be in Rajasthan running a marathon, and if I have you in the Get My Bib K database, when I send a mailer out and say, hey, you know what, there's a devil circuit happening in Jaipur, would you be interested? Yeah. And this will appeal to you versus you getting a mail from a much bigger platform that talks about 500 events. Correct. Just say 450 are not even related to you. Social section में चला जाएगा, promotion section में चला जाएगा, right? So that was the idea that why don't we create a filtered community of people who share the same likes or the same, they want the same experiences. Boot camp हो रहा है यार, इसमें जाना है. It's listed on Get My Bib. Devil circuit हो रहा है, it's listed on Get My Bib. Jaipur half marathon is listed on Get My Bib. Play हो रहा है, book my show. Movie ticket, insider. So it's not going to be like 100
for all the sports events.
Active events. Yeah, active events. Come in and list here, and you will see like maybe you will see a smaller community of 1 million people, but you'll see a much higher conversion. And as an event organizer, आपको क्या चाहिए ना? आपको तो ये चाहिए कि बहुत ज़्यादा लोग आएं, that you pay less fees, and you are not lost in a larger platform who is charging you money for prominence, charging you money for communication, and charging a much big fat fee for every success, Yeah.
I have one question. It is related to entrepreneurship. So, what are your views on bootstrapping and taking fundings from a venture capitalist or any other investor, especially for startups?
I think it depends on the nature of the business. If the business doesn't require a massive investment of money, so then try and be bootstrap as long as possible. If you require big advertising monies, if you need money to acquire customers, to make yourself heard, my advice to people is that, and this is someone much more successful than me told me, and he's raised $2.5 billion, right? So, and he gave me something which in hindsight is something I should have followed. If you get the vibe from someone, then only take that money. Otherwise, don't take it. No matter what. Have the confidence to walk away. And I think that is priceless. Because what happens is, in India also, a lot of investors are not mature investors. They feel that they own the person that they've invested in, lock, stock and barrel. Ki boss, that person is accountable to them for 24/7. That person cannot turn around and say, loss ho gaya. That person has to give them a certain minimum amount of return. And I think, greed. And these are successful people, by the way, successful people who made a lot of money. So, and that is there because even the investor, world has not matured or is maturing now. You have to be realistic of the fact that, I have invested in small companies where, 3 companies I invested all went bust. But I know that the person where I invested the money in did his absolute level best. So my advice to anybody who's saying, hey, you know what, bootstrapped or taking money, I mean, that's your call. If you feel that the business can work by just bootstrapping, go for it. You know, if you feel you need to raise money, then make sure that the person you're taking money from gives you the right vibe, or walk away. Don't be desperate.
It's a very good advice.
Yeah.
So, last but not the least, जो भी लोग फिटनेस के अंदर कुछ स्टार्टअप करना चाहते हैं या फिटनेस में कोई ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी देख रहे हैं कि हाँ फिटनेस में हमको करना है बट क्या करना है मालूम नहीं है, उनको क्या एडवाइस दोगे? What are the opportunities?
I don't know what, if I can give the right advice or not, because I'm also still trying to figure my business out. But I truly believe that there is an opportunity that exists in training. I think there is an opportunity that exists in giving people an experience of playing regular sport, right? I think we don't have enough clubs to go out and play football, paddle, pickleball, or even to come out and experience training. You know, for example, if I were to go on holidays, and jab bhi main jata hu, right, and every year I'm out, I've had the privilege of, taking these short holidays, but my holiday is about experience in a gym. So I'll go to something called the Barry's Boot Camp, which is like 60 minutes, high intensity workout, 600 calories, right? Or 800 calories. I will go to something called Orange Theory. I'll go to something which is Soul Cycle. I'll go to something which is Knockout. I mean, these are very disruptive sort of studios that have like taken the West by storm. I think that there is and the reason I think they're doing so well is because it's community centric. I feel that we lack that. And that's why participation or the excitement of going to the gym doesn't exist. It's very boring. Gyms are very boring.
Yes.
So if there is somebody out there listening in, and if he can think of, and he wants to pursue a career in fitness, I would definitely recommend him figuring out a way how to make training cool.
How to give a great experience, right?
How to make it cool. The thing is, how could make it cool, right? It's about very recently I went for a hot yoga, right? And I mean, I'm not a big fan of yoga, but sadly, I should do more of yoga than I do. But amazing experience. Not only did I sweat buckets, right? The whole flexibility routine that they make you go through is next level. मजा आ गया. Like it is just, and it is tough. It is not easy. लोगों को लगता है आसान है नहीं. But there was like I was there on, I was there on a Friday. I couldn't get the class on Saturday. I couldn't get the class on Sunday. It was sold out. Okay. I got a class on Monday morning, and that's what I'm saying that, when I look at India, I see there's a big vacuum. And we have to figure out, how can we come up with some experiences or something exciting at the right price for India? So there's a massive opportunity out there.
So thanks, Adnan, for joining us today and inspiring us all with the incredible work you're doing to make more Indians active. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, and I hope people who are listening in will go home with some appreciation of what we've created, and all those who've never run our races would come and participate.
They will. This is a lifetime experience, guys. You should, once in a life, you should go for Devil's Circuit. Lifetime experience, because I have experienced it.
The Devil Circuit or the Yodha race or the one finisher.
Or the Yodha race, the finisher.
Yeah. I think, लोगों को ये अंदाजा होना चाहिए कि life is very short. वो मैं बार-बार, I don't say it enough. It's about experience, about these memories that you can brag about.
Right.